Hello friends, I'm back again. I want to just share with you a very short important update. It's regarding Turkey, of course. So I'm reading this article from Politico. This was published recently, the 8th. Check this out. As of last week, Turkey has officially lifted its threatened veto on Sweden and Finland's NATO membership, as I talked about that. A remarkable achievement by Secretary General, and one that was anything but assured. Ahead of the alliance's Madrid summit, the three countries agreed on a set of steps aimed at reassuring Ankara about the Nordic countries' stance towards the PKK, as well as lifting restrictions on arms sales to Turkey. On top, US President Joe Biden greenlit the sale of F-16 fighter jets to Ankara. Although this will still need to pass the test of Congress, it's probably most likely going to go through. And in return, Ankara backed NATO's invitation to Helsinki and Stockholm. This is likely just a taste of what's to come in the West's ongoing dance with Turkey. In fact, up until the Turkish presidential election next year, in which Erdogan will seek re-election on the centenary of the Republic, 2023, remember, I spoke a lot about that in the past, the West should brace itself for what is likely to be another bumpy ride with Ankara, because by 2023, the centenary, since the period of independence of the secular state of Turkey, there has been rumors that Erdogan wants to revive the Ottoman Khilafah by 2023, which explains somewhat, to some degree, his recent interest in building his military and becoming independent of the West, i.e. the US. This article, very interestingly, mentions the fact that there is going to be a very bumpy ride ahead in the future with Turkey. Not only this news I wanted to share with you, but Iran's navy is also expanding its presence in the Red Sea. Do you remember, friends, I recently did a video showing you the strategic location of the Suakin Islands leased by Sudan to Turkey for 100 years, right by the Red Sea. And I also shared with you Turkey's involvement in Somalia, building a large military base in Somalia. But now we also have Iranian presence by the Red Sea. This is showing us the pieces forming together when the time of the Gog Magog invasion of Arabia and Israel happens. So we're seeing the pieces form together. Agreed? Iran's navy has recently increased its presence in the Red Sea, posing a threat to international shipping and regional stability, Israel's defense chief Benny Gantz claimed on Tuesday. Today we can confirm that Iran is methodically basing itself in the Red Sea with its ships patrolling the southern region. Eventually, friends, Persia will align itself to the head chief ruler of the Gog Magog coalition. Turkey is the chief head leader of this coalition. If we go back to the scripture, Revelation 13, reminding us why are we even looking at this region of the East Mediterranean, especially Turkey. Remember, this beast rises up out of the sea. The sea is the Mediterranean, and in particular, it's the East Mediterranean. If you do a simple Google research, Turkey, East Mediterranean, there's a whole load of information you can find out about. Let's read. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. And so many times I've gone over these scriptures in a lot of detail, and I believe that these beasts represent the former Greek Empire, the Babylonian Empire, and the Medo-Persian Empire. Now, if you consolidate those former empires and take a look at the boundaries, I believe that this beast, the fourth beast, the final dreadful beast, will consolidate those regional boundaries. It will be a mixture of people groups, but primarily from the Islamic world, that will gather together to form this coalition. And with one consent, threaten Arabia and Israel. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard, his feet like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded. Many of us believe this is the healing stage that we've been seeing of the Ottoman Empire slowly but surely coming to its complete healed position, its healed state. And his deadly wound was healed, and the world marveled and followed the beast. There's a video clip I want to share with you. Let me just show you the map that we're talking about, the region. Turkey. Remember, I've been talking about this block. So we've got the southern block forming, including the Arabs in the south with Israel, including Egypt. And this other block forming, which is the northern block, the resistance, the beast Antichrist, which is a resistance against the Arabs in the south and Israel. The Gog Magog coalition gives us another aspect to this opposition against the Arabs and Israel, whereby we have Libya included in the coalition and Sudan. So, interestingly, the region of Arabia and Israel is actually surrounded strategically for that time, friends. And I believe, my goodness, things are moving incredibly fast. A latest video on Straight Talk, which was 2 days ago, I believe, showing us the military strength of Turkey is rising. Let me read a little excerpt from this video that I'm about to share with you in its description box. It reads, "The future flagship of Turkey's navy began sea trials late last month in a show of force that many analysts say could change the balance of power in the Aegean and in the Eastern Mediterranean." This is about Turkey's drone carrier, the TCG, which has begun official sea trials. I'm going to play this video and I will be back again soon, keeping an eye on developments in this region.
The future flagship of Türkiye's navy began sea trials late last month in a show of force that many analysts say could change the balance of power in the Aegean and Eastern Mediterranean. The TCG Anadolu is a multi-purpose ship equipped with a landing dock that is expected to accommodate attack helicopters and unmanned aerial vehicles. Spotted in the Sea of Marmara, the vessel underwent official sea trials and systems tests. The ministry in charge of its construction says the naval ship will be equipped with Turkish-made weapons, including attack helicopters and amphibious assault vehicles. But the most ambitious plans will be to equip the Anadolu TCG with Turkey's latest UAVs, the TB3 Bayraktar drones. Its predecessor, the TB2, has seen success in several battlefields across Libya, Syria, the Southern Caucasus, and recently in Ukraine. The TCG Anadolu is part of Turkey's revamped naval strategy that looks to better secure its maritime borders. This past year, Turkey has seen rising tensions with Greece over exploration rights in the Eastern Mediterranean and maritime disputes in the Aegean. And to discuss what capabilities the TCG Anadolu is expected to have, joining me now from Budapest is Zoltan Egerisi. He is an international security analyst and a research fellow at the Institute for Strategic and Defense Studies. Zoltan, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. The Turkish Navy's future light aircraft carrier, the TCG Anadolu, began official sea trials late last month. How significant is this?
It's really important for development of the Turkish naval forces, as this is the first this kind of naval vessel for the Turkish Navy, which will, of course, increase its operational opportunities and room for maneuver in the adjacent regions, so in the Black Sea, in the Aegean Sea, and in the Mediterranean, and more importantly, and it means that Turkey managed to reach a higher level of technical development, not just in other areas related to the military industry, as the Turkish industries are really right today famous about, for example, drones and other technical developments, but this kind of technical improvements, advancements reached the level of Navy, and right now it enlarged Turkish room for maneuver in this region, especially if we take into consideration the ongoing arms race between various actors, especially in the Eastern Mediterranean region. And by having this light aircraft carrier, Turkey will be able to demonstrate its power capacity in a greater area.
So by the end of this year, the TCG Anadolu is expected to get more than 30 combat drones like the TB3, which is an upgraded version of the TB2s, and attack helicopters. How will they contribute to the vessel's offensive air power?
Of course, it will be a really a highly influential vessel for any possible future combat in the region. Of course, first of all, the attack helicopter will be really successful in handling, especially in opportunities, let's say near-shore involvement in near-shore conflicts, like in any possibility for the Mediterranean or in the Aegean seas. And of course, having TB3 drones, which are a new generation of drones in the Turkish military industries, will even have a larger impact on Turkish operability, in not just in the, let's say, adjacent region around the Turkish maritime areas, but in a much larger extent, having capabilities of keeping these drones for one day in air, which will make Turkish forces more able to get involved in any conflicts, not just in the Eastern Mediterranean, but in much larger areas.
Yes.
And it will really increase the Turkish influence, not just in the adjacent regions.
So how has Turkey's exclusion from the F-35 fighter jets program over its purchase of Russia's S-400 missile systems pushed it to revisit the TCG Anadolu's capabilities?
Having this difficulty, which seems to be still frozen even despite the diplomatic efforts of the Turkish side, directed this project to rather have, let's say, local product mindset, which is, let's say, the most important characteristic of the Turkish military industry's development during the last 20, 30 years, which means that Turkey has to produce everything related to every part of the military industry and products related to the Turkish army, which on the long run will make Turkey more self-provider power in concerning the military industry, and on the even longer run will make Turkey a really important arms or weapon exporter all around the world, as we could see in case of the drones. And having this difficulty will push Turkish industry to develop its own engine, its own aircraft, and also to use this aircraft carrier with the really capable drones right now with the TB3. But on the other hand, I'm pretty sure that in the future, as we have already plans in Turkey, we will have a higher or newer generation of drones having even more effective in war conflicts.
So if this model proves successful, could it pave the way for other countries to convert them into drone-capable ships?
Yes, it will be a really important, let's say, flagship project, how these carriers can be used. And I'm pretty sure that due to the fact of the conflictuous regions all around the Mediterranean, in the upcoming future, there is a high probability that we will be able to see this vessel and these drones in action. and at least Turkey will have a really important force to demonstrate its capacity to get involved in various conflicts, and it can pave the way for a newer generation of this kind of light aircraft carriers, and other states all around the world will be open to follow the Turkish examples, as we could see, for example, in case of the Turkish drone industry.
So in the meantime, what do you make of China's recent launch of its third and most technologically advanced aircraft carrier? What impact will China's new vessel, let's say, have on Asia's maritime security?
Yeah, by having a new generation aircraft carrier for the Chinese fleet, it of course increased its room for maneuver. As we know, China has two Soviet-based or Soviet-designed aircraft carriers. Right now, it's a new step that they have their own produced aircraft carrier. However, and it's a really important message to the other actors in the region, to Japan, of course, more importantly to Taiwan, and for the United States. However, as stemming from the Biden strategy, the United States is still investing and focusing in the Pacific region, and of course it will enter in a new arms race with China. And if you look at the numbers, it's important to see that the United States has more than 10 aircraft carriers, so the balance is still favors the United States. However, at technological level and with immense investment capacities, China is ready to compete and behave as a competitor rival towards the United States.
So how are countries adapting to the modern day security environment, especially at high seas, and what kind of transformation they are going through to stave off imminent challenges and risks?
I think the most important feature of recent developments is to invest in more in military industries and also to increase local military capacities. Turkey is one of the best examples in this field, but other states also try to follow that. And it means that we are in a time of arms race, as for example, in case of the NATO countries, the United States are really pushing to increase the 2 percentage point GDP spending for military spending, and let's say landlocked states are also doing this, and littoral or sea states will also follow this, or they are also ready to follow this pattern or this push, especially in the shadow of the war in Ukrainian war. So by and large, big powers or states having bigger ambition to play a global role or even regional role in various ocean and seas will push to have a higher standard, new generation of fleet, and drone capacities will play a really important role in the future in this field.
All right, Sultan, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk.